Well, there's actually two areas. Number one is about the tax cut that's fixing to expire for the top 2% income earners. And people say, well, how is that going to actually reduce the deficit? Unlike my opponent, who agrees that the top 2% income earners should get this extension, what he doesn't tell people is we actually have to borrow $700 billion from China and abroad to pay for this tax extension. So that's one way where we can reduce the deficit there in the future. But also, when you really look at the budget, a lot of people don't look at the percentage of the budget where it's being spent, from education to farming to senior services and whatnot. We can't go after senior services. It's roughly about 38% of the budget out there. But what we do have is the Department of Defense has about 28% of our annual budget. Now, some people may say, well, are you being soft on terrorists? No. In fact, only about 1/5 of our Department of Defense budget is spent on the war in Afghanistan and Iraq. So what we need to do is look at there's a lot of fat that we could cut out at the Pentagon, especially in some areas where there are projects going on for people that at one time worked for the Pentagon, and now they're working for some defense contractors back in the Bush administration days. That we need to look at that and go over with a fine-tooth comb to figure out how we can reduce the Department of Defense budget. As you know, we spend more on the Department of Defense than any country combined, and I think we spend more than all the countries in Europe combined do. So that's where I would say we need to start looking at.
Where do you draw the line between what's referred to as pork barrel spending and earmarks for projects? As you know, Owensboro has received significant money from the federal government for the riverfront. Some may call that pork, but here within this community we see it as an important project. How do you determine when it's pork and when it's earmarks, and what are your thoughts about that?
Well, you remember that was something that Mitch McConnell really pushed through a transportation bill. And a lot of people couldn't figure out, well, how's that part of the transportation bill? But that was basically on the Ohio River, which is part of the transportation division. And that's how that got kind of snuck in there. But see, there again, we need more transparency on the earmarks. Who actually sponsors these earmarks? Where's the money going? And let's not try to hide earmarks in a good bill that moves our country forward, either being education or the recovery of the economy or something. We need more transparency on earmarks.
So not necessarily cut back on earmarks, but just have everyone step forward that is calling for this spending and say, well, that's mine. I put that.
I think a lot of times people are upset, especially the public, when they see a bill that's a good bill, but someone stuck some earmarks in there to pay for some pet project back in his home state or something, and people are tired with that. And I think it's time that we have an honest voice up in Congress that actually will call them out when there are these special earmarks that are going for pet projects. And let's move those out, or at least if we're going to vote for them, at least the public will now know what the earmarks are going for.